Take a look at this article from Wall Street Journal today. Well, today means August 2 for them, right? Remote work is here to stay. Bosses better adjust. This was featured in my Flipboard. It's funny how this is appropriate, especially now that we're going for another 2 weeks work from home because of the MECQ declaration. I think more than ever, now is the time for management to really look into some of the old things that we still believe in. The tenets of marketing, the tenets of management, the management concepts, the management theories that we are still teaching in our business schools remain to be the turn of the century, and I don't mean this century, the other century, the turn of the century scientific management and all those stuff. I mean, it has not even reached the man on the moon landing, the OPEC crisis of, even if they did, it does not even reach the 1990s internet run. And now we have AI, and after AI is the reality of work from home brought about because of the coronavirus. A while back we talked about how do you implement an office culture without the physical office. Now bosses are being called to adjust because it is really hard, especially in the Philippines, because of our closely knit nature, to understand how a person, for example, is doing work when I cannot see him or her on his desk. We are not so keen into just relying on numbers or relying on reports that can just be easily done. For me, as a manager, if you cannot rely on the numbers that is being reported to you, and for you it does not reflect the kind of work that employee is really working on, then that means the metric is in error. It's a basic tenet of the balance scorecards. It's not only measuring, it's not only analyzing, it's not only that. It's first defining what you ought to measure. Because even if you measure 1,000 metrics, if the definition of those metrics are wrong in the first place, then it doesn't mean anything. You are just reporting numbers upon numbers upon numbers, and in the end, doesn't mean anything. In the principles, in the disciplines of execution by Stephen Covey, he mentioned something about have a compelling scorecard. It does not only mean that we are asking from our people, what kind of work did you do, or maybe you do this 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, report to me what happened at the end of the day. Those things can easily be, I could easily invent numbers upon numbers. This is the number of people that I called, blah blah blah, this said that and all that, and after that that doesn't mean anything. Now the Covey Foundation explain that the four discipline of execution speaks about the difference between leading indicator and a lagging indicator. Sometimes lagging indicators are the only ones that we measure. Lagging indicator does not reflect what we want to be. Lagging indicators are good simply because they reflect the results of your work. But if you want to know what will happen to the next couple of days, couple of months, couple of years, if you want to know what's going to be the next steps, then you should measure more the leading indicator, because the leading indicator leads you to the next step. Hence, it is quite important. It is completely important that at the beginning of the day, the beginning of the week, the beginning of the month, you and your employees should agree on the measures, expectations that is expected from them, right? Because that will be the basis of the metrics that will be reported, the measures that will be reported back to the boss, right? Problem is, especially for us Filipinos, we don't lay down the cards on the table. We don't lay it down. We simply either assume that the employee understands, or better yet, we don't care whether the employee understands or not. It's about communication. It's about understanding, mutual understanding. Because if you spend your time just, answering queries like, okay, what am I going to do at 8 o'clock in the morning? What about at 9 in the morning? What about at 10 in the morning? That's not the kind of management what we need. Do you think that Apple computers, one of the most successful companies in the world, or Google, or San Miguel Corporation, do you believe that they would monitor their employees on an hour-to-hour basis? I don't think so. It should be outcome based. It should be results based. It's like as I told my my HR just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I said to her, as a manager, especially on a crisis situation, especially in the pandemic like this, it's a crisis situation. It's like my castle is being attacked by barbarians on the gate. Okay, I don't need my soldiers to go back to me every now and then and tell me, King George, I've dug the trenches over here. King George, the post on the north gate is about to be sacked. What shall we do? No, I don't care about that. I want you to win the war. That's the main metric. I don't care what you do as long as you do that. So down the line, the generals would do something. This is your main task. Don't lose the gate. This is your main task. Dig the trenches. It should be this deep. It should be this wide. Blah blah blah. Right? Because if as a manager you would take a look into the every minute by minute, hour by hour doing of your people, then everybody should just be in one place. House them all. Pay them, their work on site. Okay, pay them, or better yet, give them their a bit of a housing settlement for their whole family to be resettled. That way, you are able to see what they're doing, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, until you extract from them what you want to extract from them. But that's not the kind of management that you should do. That kind of management is like as I said, the turn of the century, 20th century kind of management. And that's already, that did not consider the Spanish flu, World War I, World War II, the manufacturing sector boost, right? The movement of the 80s, everything. It did not consider that. It did not consider the internet generation, the Google generation. It did not consider the COVID-19 now that we are having. In summary, remote work is here to stay. Bosses should better adjust. And it's not just bosses, it's the whole management. It should adjust. If we are not happy with the kind of report that is being given to us, that means we are measuring it wrong. Sometimes it's not the lag measures that matter. Sometimes it's even the lead measures that matter. It's what excites me as a leader. It's what excites me. It's not what you have done. Okay, ho hum. You've already done that. That's a done deal. I mean, why would you report game that you had last Saturday, right? That's already in the past. Tell me what you need to improve in order for you to win more games like that in the future. And that's current management. That's what we should do, especially in a pandemic like this.